Hello, everyone, and welcome to Forbidden Lands Episode 2. We have made it. I didn't expect not to, but, you know, this wasn't a mini-series, as was already stated. So here we are, we're back again. I am Domestic Dan, and I will be your GM of Consequences today. We're just going to do a real quick who each person is and who they play for y'all, just as a quick reminder. And we're just gonna dive right in. Yeah, so I'm gonna look at the order we have there, and why don't we start with Millie today?
Hi, I'm Amelia Tyler. I'm a voice actor for video games, and I will be playing Fiuka for you tonight. Let's see if she makes good decisions. Spoilers, probably not.
Yeah, you're a bit of a... Well,
that blank space said everything that you needed to. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's one of those.
One of those.
Bit of a...
Yoda. Little
oh
Pinocchio
god, that
Yoda.
art was amazing.
So good. Whack. Hello, who are you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Wax Steven. Normally I'm the GM of Doom, but now I'm the player of Doom. I've been sent to destroy Dan in whatever way possible, and I will try very hard to do so. Normally I'm not a player. I'm normally the GM, and I do stuff here on Tablestory quite a bit. Tomorrow we do Witchcraft and Wizardry, which is the Harry Potter show. And on Fridays I run Facade, which is an occult detective horror show. Millie's also on that. And yeah, I'm playing Nikel, who is a swift Nora seeker who hunts and is sort of pretty stoic in general.
Yeah. Thank you. Bloody.
I was muted, but hello. Now I'm not.
Was
I'm
it me this
Lancaster.
time?
Hi, hello. And I'm playing Imke. And Imke is a tinkerer, and I hope that I will get to tinker a lot of fancy little things in the future. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. That's mostly your choice. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what you choose to do. Faye.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Faye Lynn. I do the video game streaming thing, and I'll be playing Alkali for you today.
Ooh. And last but not least, Kat.
Hello, I'm Kat, and I am playing Manasa. I am a strammer, currently on a break, and I'm also a freelance artist. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, chat. I see my Zoom. They're all making fun of me in Zoom. Good thing there aren't consequences for actions. Anyway, so how about let's dive right into the first consequence. Welcome everybody to Forbidden Lands. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Take us away, Whack.
Am I playing the thing now?
Oh yes.
I haven't listened to it at all, by the way, so just saying.
Good.
Saying that now. Okay. I'm nervous, Dan. I don't know what you gave me.
People of these lands, my name is Sasha. Help me. Everything has changed. I don't recognize Seattle anymore. I think the plague is over. Please, help. Our reserves are low.
One week later, and the present time for our adventurers. They are on the border of a forest, a large million-acre forest and mountain range. They've been traveling for about a week northwest of Meridian, in what we know as Utah. They're looking to pass through this forest. Unbeknownst to them, one of the trails they were looking at, which was a bit wide, rustling. Birds begin to fly and squawk in fear and fly away overhead and to behind them. And out rushes a fire Bellowback. The party is going to have to deal with this, as we found out last time. It is hostile, it is angry. The Bellowback, 2 legs, long, lizard-like tail, an almost alligator-shaped head with lots of plating and a large sack glowing under its neck, bursts flames forth and charges. I will need everyone to roll initiative for me. Difficulty 5.
How do we do that, Dan? Where is it?
Speed is what you will roll.
You should have a skill.
If you have an
really?
initiative skill, which you should,
Oh, yes.
yes. There you go.
Difficulty what, sorry?
5. I believe, was that everyone? It was. Manasa, perhaps not so distracted as everyone was taking in the beauty of a fairly uneventful walk and hike. Manasa, due to your quick thinking, all of you will be able to act before this charging Bellowback. However, you get to act first before anyone else can. What do you do?
How far away is the Bellowback?
The Bellowback is, I would say, long distance.
Ooh.
So about 50 to 100 feet.
I'm going to try to find some cover.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an intellect-based perception check.
Okay. What difficulty?
That'll be a 3. You weren't in the forest yet, but you might be able to find a rock or maybe a fallen branch or tree big enough. You were taken off guard by this as you were all moving forward in a fairly open plain. There's no easy cover to find. Not without moving into the forest and past the Bellowback itself. I'll still allow you to do something else. You were just looking quickly. You have 1 action.
May I hold my action?
You can. You can hold back and wait and to see what everyone else does. What is everyone else doing? Manasa yells out, and you see the Bellowback charging, flames erupting from its mouth. Roughly the size, at least in height, as a semi. It is not a small creature.
I want to fly the ropecaster at it to slow it down again.
Okay. I believe that is short range, is it not?
It does not say, I don't think.
Yeah, it does. Right under
This is
attack.
short. Oh, yeah. Yeah, got it. Yeah, short range.
Okay, so that means you need to be within 10 feet of it, and it is a long distance away.
Oh,
so you
okay.
could roll speed and attempt to move up to it
Are you joking, young man? I'm not going to run towards it.
All right. Then you will not be able to hit it from here.
In that case, I want to try and enthrall it.
Tell me how
Would it
that
be able
works,
to hear me
please.
from that far?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
What does enthrall do, Fiuka?
While talking, you grab and keep another creature's attention. Even if the creature can't understand you, for as long as you do nothing but speak, you can't even move, the other creature takes no actions other than to defend itself, even over multiple rounds. If the creature is attacked, the effect ends.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll for enthrall. I believe that ability takes
an intellect.
An intellect, so make sure to remove an intellect. It is a difficulty 5.
Do you have an edge in intellect?
Yeah.
So then it does not cost an intellect. That's a freebie.
Ah, there you go then.
Okay. So I just hit intellect and difficulty 5, right?
Yes, indeed. That is very difficult.
It is. You are right.
Its momentum is not swayed as you see Fiuka stand and attempt to catch its gaze and attention.
Seeing Fiuka sort of rush up and try to catch its attention, I will try and rush up and help her. And I yell, "Careful, Banuk!" And I rush forward, and I'm going to use... I have a special ability called Swipe. It's a quick, agile melee attack. Your attack inflicts 1 less point of damage than normal, but it dazes your target for 1 round, during which time all tasks it performs are hindered.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to swipe at it with my spear and try and get its attention. I'm just going to kind of like rush up to it and try and get its attention away from Fiuka.
Okay. So that's a quick action. Does that mean you get to do that in addition to moving, or are you going to need to roll your speed to get
It's
up
a
to it?
regular action.
Okay, so you'll need to roll speed as it is long distance currently.
Okay. What
And that'll
difficulty?
be a difficulty 3. You are charging a charging beast. And that is a critical failure, which means for a GM intrusion.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll give my other XP to Fiuka.
Okay. So you get 1 XP. Make sure to mark that, Fiuka. Mikkel runs forward, hoping to get its attention, and he succeeds. It attempts to swing down and clobber him with a sweeping attack of its own to knock him aside while it continues to charge. Mikkel, I would suggest trying to get out of the way of this hit. Difficulty 5.
Yeah, so I guess I'm tripping or something as I'm rushing forward. I don't see a rock.
Yeah.
And
You're basically focused on distracting it, and its sweep is much quicker than you anticipated as you stumble slightly.
Yeah, I'm going to use an effort.
Okay. Ugh. But it wasn't enough. It sweeps down and slams its nose into the side of Mikkel, and he flies into the air 10 feet and hits the ground hard. Takes 6 damage. And it continues to charge forward. What are the rest of you doing? 3 of you still have actions.
How close is it to us right now?
Still long.
Okay.
So it's 50 to 100 feet away.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my focus to try and see if I can find any weak points or any components that we can go ahead and knock off.
All right. So this will be an action for you, but you can at least relay that. Go ahead and give me an int-based perception.
Okay. And that's a difficulty.
That will be a difficulty 3.
I'm gonna use an effort actually as well.
Okay. And that's a success. Because you're trained and you had effort. Made it very easy for you to do with this. So you turn on your focus, and the world of augmented reality opens up as you scan this Bellowback. And a few key points get highlighted on it. Namely, the large sack full of, as you look at it, blaze, where it erupts its fire, as well as a couple blaze canisters on its back. There's also a power cell underneath its body.
Okay, and that was my action, right?
That was your action. But you can at least
Okay.
speak and tell people of these weaknesses if you
Right.
choose.
So you said there's the sack on the bottom, and then
The sack on like the neck and gullet kind of thing. It's like a large sack.
Right. Okay. And then you also said there was a power cell somewhere.
There's a power cell underneath it, base of the tail, kind of in the groin area, if it had one.
Okay. So I'm gonna try and move, because I assume since it's charging, even though it's engaging with Nickel, that like it's running in a certain direction. So I'm gonna try.
It's
and
still
run
running.
to the
It
side.
swiped him to the side and kept charging the rest
Okay.
of you.
So I'm gonna try and run to the side a bit to try and avoid his or its attack, and I'm just gonna yell out basically, go for the power cell on the back of its tail, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. If you're going to try to move out of the way, you're going to need to make a speed roll to do this and an action.
Cool.
That'll be a difficulty 3, since you're just, you don't have, 2. I'll say 2 for this because you're not engaged directly with it. It's still away.
Okay, so 2.
Okay. And you got a 19, which is a minor effect. I will, yeah, I'll say whenever you're in range of it, you'll be able to get out of the way if you need to move. Basically, I'll give you another ability to just go a little farther next time without having to roll.
Okay, so the special effect will basically be I can use that just to.
You're prepared to move out of the way if you need to.
Cool.
Not a dodge of an attack, but if you choose to move for something, you can do that without having to expend. Okay.
That's my turn.
So you were told about the tail power cell. Anasa, MK, do you stand in fear or do you fight?
I want to do something, but it has to be in short range for me to do that.
Yes.
Yes. Is it?
It's still long distance. Round isn't
so-
over yet.
Okay. Okay. So I don't do anything just yet.
You're essentially waiting, not going to use an action this turn. That's your
I don't
choice.
know if I can, honestly. I don't
Depending
think
on
I
your
have
abilities,
anything-
you can always look around where you are. You can try to move. You can attempt cover like was done earlier. There's a lot of different things. It doesn't just
Okay,
have to be fighting. What would
when
you
she
do?
attempt- But with the cover, you said that there's nothing, right?
Manasa couldn't see any at least.
Oh, okay. Can I try?
Yeah,
can I
you can
try
try.
and see?
You can
Okay.
give me a perception check. You're looking around trying to specifically look for cover.
Is
That was
just
difficulty.
intellect?
It's an intellect one, and I believe that was a difficulty 3.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
So that's a nat 20. Major effect. What cover do you see? What cover do
It
you
seems
find
like
that Manasa
I
missed?
find a tunnel or something.
You can tell me what you find.
No. What do I find?
So you're in kind of a plainsy like area that is approaching a large forest.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out of the forest.
Okay. Maybe there's a very large boulder, or a very large. Actually, it's a very large tree trunk, like a cut.
Okay.
Tree trunk that it's large enough for me to hide behind.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Yes.
And with that 20, I'll let you just go to it. If you're going to cover,
Thank
you
you.
can do that.
That's what I do.
Okay. All right. Manasa.
All right, so on my sheet, I'm skilled in stealth. So I would like to attempt to not draw its direct attention and see if I can possibly work myself around it to get to its tail as it's charging.
Okay, so trying to shrink down a little bit to make yourself less noticeable. I mean, it sees you, but I know what I got you. Okay, go ahead and give me that a check as you're trying to move around. That's going to be a difficulty 5.
All
You're
right.
trying to hide in plain sight, quite literally. But since you're trained, it does reduce the difficulty a bit. Any effort or any of that sort? No.
I was thinking about it, but I decided not to.
Would have succeeded if you had, unfortunately. Or no. That's fine. But still, yeah, you were trying to stealth in front of a charging large beast that has definitely already seen you. You start to make your way around and realize there's no way you're going to be able to stealth away from it in time. And now it is its turn as it is charging at the 3 of you. I need all 3 of you to give me a defense check. Faye, yours is reduced by 2 difficulty from your previous success. The rest of you, your defense roll is 5. Alkali, 3.
4. Oh, 3. Okay.
As
And
it
this
is
going to be
charging.
speed defense?
If you're trying to get out of the way instead of blocking it, yes.
Okay.
But I'm safe, right?
You aren't making the roll. You're good. You got out of the way and found cover.
My stump.
Oh no.
Oh no, Fuga!
That's another one. We'll get to that in a
Oh
second.
no.
Oh dear.
Alkali, you swiftly get out of the way as you were already ready for this. Nikel, you did not need to roll. You were off to the side.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good. You didn't fail because you didn't have to, so you're good.
Okay.
Manasa gets out of the way as well. Yeah, you were tossed to the side. You weren't tossed ahead. So, Nikel, you're good. Manasa and Alkali get out of the way. Unfortunately, so, Fuka, you were standing attempting to enthrall it and keep its attention. Perhaps you succeeded, but not in the way you were hoping.
Oh dear, it likes me too much.
Yes. Now, I will remind you, and I think this is a fair point, if you do not want a GM intrusion, you can spend 1 XP to make it go away.
I
Or
don't
you can
have any
accept it.
XP.
Yes, you do.
You
I
have
just
one.
gave you one.
When
Oh,
he had
really?
his GM intrusion, you get an XP and
Okay.
you give one. So you can either choose to take 1 XP and give one to someone else, or accept the intrusion. Or to deny the intrusion and spend an XP.
Let's accept it and see what happens.
Okay. All right. So you get an XP. You can give an XP to someone else in the party of your
Who
choice.
else is out in the open?
Manasa and
Who hasn't found a way to hide or...
Manasa and
Get out of the way.
Alkali and Nikel. Really, the only one that found cover is Imke.
Then it'll be Alkali. For sure. There's history.
Okay. Alkali, take your experience. Oh boy. So, it charges this old woman. And yeah, it just outright slams into you with its charge. And you see an old woman ragdoll a bit into the air as it does kind of the rhino hit up and slam into the ground for 6 points of damage to you as well. Everyone is able to act now.
How close is it now?
It's in short range now.
All right.
It's right up next to you.
I'd like to use my Terror Blaster on it.
Oh gosh.
Okay. What are you shooting at? Just it in general, or the
I'd
tail, like you
like
said
to
before,
shoot at
or the power cell, I should say.
the power cell.
Okay. Okay.
And what difficulty would that be?
The power cell will be a difficulty. What I actually have that right here. That will be a difficulty 4 to hit the power cell. You do see that there is a little bit of armor around it, but you might be able to tear both that and the power cell with your Terror Blaster if you're good enough.
Going to use my effort.
Okay. Very nice. That was a 17 with the Terror Blaster. 17 gets you an extra point of damage. So you blast into this power cell, chipping away at armor, and sparks fly as you hit it. You noticeably can see it chug for a second after the power cell is hit, and blast flames into the air in what you can only assume is anger if they feel it as a machine. And it turns towards you. What do the rest of you do?
I
So
think
it's in. Oh, go on.
no, I think I'm still a bit dazed, so I'm probably just trying to right myself.
Sure.
Where did it ragdoll me to?
Short distance away from itself, not 10 feet.
Behind or
So
in
it kind of
front?
like, it kind of lifted, you went up and then down maybe 5 feet away.
Right, so I'm behind it now?
You're behind it because it turned to Manasa.
Okay, question. Can I just use a special ability right now?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
Okay, I would like to try.
Go for it.
I would like to try and scramble this machine.
Okay, what does that do?
That renders it unable to function for 1 round.
Oh, that seems
Yes.
like a good idea.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, and that is intellect, I see, with cost of 2. You do have an
Yes,
intellect
correct.
edge, so it's only going to cost you 1. And then you'll need to make an intellect roll.
Okay. So does that add to the difficulty then?
No, it's its own difficulty. I'll tell, like, so you make an intellect roll.
Okay.
I'll tell you the difficulty for it.
All
And
right.
if you succeed, you'll do what the action says.
Okay.
And it'll cost you 1 intellect because of your edge.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, your roll is going to be a difficulty 3.
Okay. I'm gonna expend an effort too.
Okay. Alrighty. That is a success. So make sure you deduct the intellect that you spent, which I believe is a total of 3 because of your edge.
Okay.
That's including ability and effort. So, you pull out a small device of your own making, Tinkerer, and lob it as hard as you can right at this you're throwing something at the broadside of a barn, essentially. And it sticks, and a small spark flies out. And the whole Bellowback twitches in place. And more sparks fly from the power cell.
I see that and I get really giddy and I start kind of like clapping, like, yes, yes, yes! I did it!
What are the rest of you doing?
So Fiuka is knocked over to the side. How far am I from her?
You're all within short range, except
so we're
for
all within
Nikel and MK.
Okay. So I'm gonna try, I guess, to run a little bit out of the way and take out my sharp shot bow and try to land a shot on the power cell if it's still there.
It's still there. It is sparking heavily. You could do another scan to check its status, but that would be an action like before.
Right. All right. So I'm not gonna waste my action. We need to do damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and take a shot. What difficulty would that be?
That'll be a difficulty 3.
Okay. I'm gonna use an effort.
Okay. And that is a success. Your sharp shot flies and nails it off in the side. Were you aiming for the power cell again or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you hit the power cell. Your arrow is lodged directly into it. And it falls out of its socket and onto the ground. What are the rest of you doing? Nikel or Fuka, you both were slammed around.
Yeah, I'm probably just missed Fayuka getting like launched. I'm gonna sort of stand up, try to sort of find my bow, and what did I hear from Alkali again? What did you say, Alkali?
It was about the power cell. I didn't relay any other information because I'm the worst.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a shot at this thing, nowhere in particular.
Okay.
With my sharp shot
3.
bow.
All right.
And I will use an effort on both the attack and the damage.
Okay. Go for it. Ooh. That is another failure. Too stunned as he gets up, maybe leaning a little bit on his spear, sets it aside, and lets his arrow fly, and it flies wide. Maybe seeing a bit of stars throwing off his aim.
Everybody, scatter! It's a Bellowback!
Fiuka, the old crumpled woman, what are you doing?
I'm gonna be down on my knees, just kind of catching my breath a little bit, and setting up something that I pulled out of my bag. I'm gonna be taking out a shock trap and just arranging that on the floor. Do I whistle for it? No, I'm gonna wait, just in case.
Okay. So what? Sorry, you were. Are you attacking it? Did I catch that wrong?
Is that
You're
an
in short
action
range.
in itself?
Attacking is an
okay, so
action. Otherwise, you just getting up, you're fine. Like you
So
can.
do I just hurl the shock trap at it, or is that something I have to set up on the floor and wait for it to wander into?
You would want to set it up and wait for it. Yes.
Okay, then I'll set it up and whistle for it like a dog,
Okay.
and then just peg it that way.
Okay.
Hobbling.
So, set it up. That will be an int-based check. Mm-hmm. At least in my mind. If you do disagree, you can disagree.
No,
but
that makes sense.
you're setting up your shock trap at your own feet and then attempting to book it. Mm-hmm. And whistle.
Yeah.
Or at least, yeah. Because its back is to you. Because it turned to Manasa.
So what difficulty would that be?
Setting this up is just setting it up as difficulty 2.
Okay. Yay, finally. Oh, thank God.
19, very good. A minor effect. I'm gonna say it. You're whistling. It does catch your attention, or you catch its attention.
Come on over here, delicious, bony. Oh God. Just peg it in the other direction, hobbling.
All right, give me a speed check if you're trying to go more than a short distance away.
Okay.
That's gonna be a difficulty 3. You got its
I'm
attention.
gonna spend an effort on that.
Okay.
Oh God.
It's still twitching, but you saw it like look at you, like as the
So that
sparks.
takes it down to a 2, right?
Yes, an effort would take it down to a 2, but you make sure to put in the effort there.
Yeah. Oh, so I still put it in at 3, and then
Correct.
the effort comes
And then
off
you
at
use
the...
1
got
effort.
Got it.
Yep, and it'll cost you 3 speed unless you have edge.
Pray for a few. Oh, thank God. Whew.
There you go. You rolled the exact number you needed, and you book it, limping slightly to yourself after being tossed like a rag doll. And it is not chasing because it is all stunned for this round due to MK's efforts, but you see it twisting and turning towards you as you're running if you look behind you, Fuka. And you would hear some of the servos grinding a bit, and it's struggling, and there's a lot of effort. Go for it. The round is over. It seems to shake itself off and attempt to start moving towards Fuka.
Yeah, I think I'm. I think I'm going to yell out. Everybody scatter! Split up! It's a Bellowback! And maybe I'm going to. I think just take another shot. I think I'm just going to take another shot with my sharp shot bow.
Okay. It is a difficulty 3.
Yeah, and I have a attack flourish. That will make it so that one creature I choose within short range who can see me gains an asset to its next task if taken within a round or 2. Who else looks like they're sort of attacking this thing?
Definitely Manasa. Maybe you may or may not know about MK since she is behind cover. Definitely Manasa. Alkali, I don't think took any attack. Oh no, she shot her bow as well. See, Alkali did. Yeah. So those two definitely.
So I'll
you
say
see Fuka running.
So I'll say Alkali will gain the benefit for the attack flourish, and I'm gonna take another shot with my sharp shot bow. Effort into the attack and to the damage.
Okay. Difficulty 3. There you go. Nice. The arrow flies after Nikel yells out for everyone to retreat. And the arrow lands into its back as it is beginning to run and whir up its servos, though it is very clearly limping now.
It's injured!
Anyone else? What else are you doing?
I'll go ahead and pull out my, well, I already have my bow out. And I'm just gonna try and land a shot on one of the parts of its back as well. Since Nikel just weakened it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did a good chunk
He yelled,
of
he
damage.
said it's injured. Yeah, he heard it.
Okay.
The arrow is
All right.
lodged in. You see that. No, you're good.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try and take a shot at that. With the advantage that Nikel gave me, how am I supposed to use that?
You have one asset. If it doesn't pop up, which I thought I couldn't catch if it did or not, but you basically have the difficulty reduced by 1.
Oh, okay. So you can just, all right, cool.
Yep. So if I say difficulty 3, you can just put difficulty 2.
Okay. And is that going to be?
And that uses up your asset. What was that?
Okay. Is that going to be a difficulty 3 anyway?
I was going to say, if you're taking a shot, difficulty 3, which means if you use your asset, it's a difficulty 2.
Perfect. Okay.
And it was no problem at all as you fire your shot. And it collapses. Before it could even reach the trap that Fuka set and ran from, the Bellowback lets out a puff and hits the ground hard with a shake and a rumble.
Spread out. We totally had that under control.
I don't see any of this. I'm still running.
Can you run? That's impressive. Like, can you
Hobbling.
even?
I'm doing a hobble, muttering angrily.
Back! Where are you going? Oh my god.
Where's that old coot going?
I'm just pegging it for the tree line.
Alkali, do you want to go get your friend?
Yeah, someone please go get her.
Yes. I will go run after her.
Yeah, go get her. I'll be right here. You know, doing my thing. I'm gonna.
Where the hell are you going? Don't shout back. Oh. Oh, well done. Don't tread on the trap. Hobbling back.
I lift one foot up and I see the trap below it and I try to back up a little bit.
So I'm gonna hobble back to the trap and see if I can unset it. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know
can give me
what
an
the
int
term
check, same difficulty 2 before, to disarm it and keep it.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Tis mine.
You kind of turn it back off, seal it back up, and put it in your pack with no problem at all. Still usable.
Dan, I would like to do something if I can at this point. Can I?
What would you like to do?
Can I like get Manasa and go and take a look at what we can salvage from the?
You absolutely.
Already on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
because I've been
Literally.
looking at that power
She's,
core.
like, on top of
I've
it,
been-
ripping
I'm
stuff
yeah,
out.
I'm already go down. Okay.
You would
Perfect.
see
So-
Manasa like on top of the Bellowback, like prying like one of its armor platings
Okay.
off.
So
like,
you see me coming out of this stump like, ta-da! I'm ready to go. And
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
just going.
I need another set of hands. Come help me with this.
Let's do it.
So
All right.
I am proficient in scavenging. What difficulty would I have to roll to see what?
What are you trying to salvage? If you're just looking for general stuff, there's a general
Yes.
roll. If you're trying to get something specific, it might be a little more
I'd like
difficult.
to see if I could recover one of the batteries underneath it that was intact, not the tail one, because the tail one, of course, is bad.
Yeah, the power cell. Okay.
For
Yeah.
this, I probably would have relayed to her, I guess.
I
like,
don't
the
think you
person.
did. You ran after Fuka right
That's true.
away.
Okay.
You were yelling and chasing her. So, yeah, otherwise I would normally say, but you specifically said
No,
you ran off.
That's fair.
So yeah, you're looking to try to get an intact power cell of some kind. Sure.
Yeah.
For an intact one, that's going to be a difficulty 4.
Okay.
Because you see the one laying below
Even though
it
I'm proficient in
sparking. Yeah, well, that's a difficulty 4. Your proficiency lowers the difficulty automatically.
Okay.
So, difficulty's set, but you being better at it reduces it for you.
Okay.
So, difficulty
I'm gonna
4.
put 1.
Effort.
Yes.
Yeah, you can only do 1 effort at this level.
Yeah.
So, 1 is your maximum regardless. You rolled pretty low. You rolled
That's
a 5.
rigged.
Yeah. So, you look for an undamaged power cell, and there isn't one. The only power cell this had was a large one, and it is sparking, and there's an arrow sticking through it from Alkali's shot. And you even see some shards that, from your Terror Blast, when you hit it in the first place, the power cell is damaged beyond use. You find a couple of shards that are salvageable, but most of the time you'd have to spend a lot of time chipping away at it if you were going to try to get any more. And by a lot of time, I mean like a few hours.
How much time? Few hours.
A few hours.
All right, everyone. Well, power cell isn't going to be worth anything, but let's take a good 2 or 3 hours here.
I'm like walking over to Fayuka. Are you all right?
I ignore him and I'm just staring at the kids disassembling this creature. Just. And you call them beasts. I sit down cross-legged in front of this thing's face and just stare at it in the eyes and put my head on its forehead. Thank you. I'm sorry they're so, well, you know. If you don't mind, is there, anywhere on there I can see that it would be easy to get the blood from it? Or is there nothing here?
You could try. You can try to see.
Okay, what would that be?
That'd just be a perception for you. You're trying to look, find. So, intellect-based perception, unless you have a different skill that you think would be better.
No, I think it would probably be intellect.
Okay. I'll ask you this, and you can answer. Have you seen one of these Bellowback before, or have run into them before? Or have you kind of avoided them?
It depends. Are they up north more?
Less up north. They tend to stick around forests and rivers.
I might have seen one from afar. I probably haven't had one in this situation before.
Okay, so I'd say it's a difficulty 5 because you've not interacted one up close.
Okay.
I don't know if you can tap it easily.
Nah.
Yeah, it's
No
going to
chance.
take a long time of you poking around, and its armor's pretty.
No. I don't
pretty
want to
solid.
do that then.
Okay.
All right.
I will say, and this is for the viewers. So what you all got to witness, and I'll just be very quick on it, is a mechanic that I built in a little bit into Cypher, namely the parts system. They permanently reduced the creature's difficulty by taking out that power cell. Permanently. It started out much more difficult, and it gets easier the more you disable it. So that was what happened there, if you were all curious.
Would I notice whether or not the same canisters that I saw prior to during the encounter are intact?
You can give me a scan with your focus if you'd like.
Okay. That's perception, right?
Yes, for you it is.
Difficulty-
This one will still be, let's see what it was before for you. I believe it was a difficulty 4 for you earlier
Was it
for the scan.
Oh yeah, I can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, we'll say difficulty 4.
Yep.
You're really trying to really closely analyze to make sure they're not damaged. So, yeah, you're not sure. They're there. You can still see they're there. But whether or not they're damaged is unclear.
Alkali.
Manasa?
You're doing that weird thing again when you kind of stare off into the distance. But instead you're staring at it. Do you see anything?
I didn't want to.
Did your little thingy tell you whatever your voice, the thing in your head?
It's a focus, and so when we were fighting, I noticed that there are these canisters here, these little blaze ones, I believe.
All right.
We can see through them basically, right? Because they have like the green.
Yeah, it's
liquid
a
in
green, like, sloshing liquid in a large vial, a very, very thick, sort of reinforced glass.
Okay.
Probably about, yay big. It's about the size of a thermos.
Right. So if you want to try, I can't tell whether or not it's intact, but this might be useful for MK.
Or for shards?
Or for Imke?
Shards.
Or for weapons
Me?
and stuff.
I need
Need
shards.
Weapons. Weapons. You can make shards.
That also could be sold, yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. All right. On it.
Tinkering? Yes.
On
We
it.
won't be able to sell anything if we die.
But we didn't die.
But this could also be very valuable to us, so.
And
If
tinkering.
you are going to bicker, I'll take myself off, thank you. And I go and sit down on a rock a little way away and just stare out into the distance and recover myself.
Don't go flying off anywhere.
Watch your tongue. I bop you on the head with my stick.
Old
It's
crow.
harder than you were expecting.
Anyways, all right, let's try this. I'm gonna rub my hands together and I will attempt to scavenge.
Specifically
Again.
those parts, sure.
Yes. Can MK assist me?
I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
Anna
How will
wants
that
it.
affect
If
my
she's-
roll?
So if she succeeds, I'll have her roll first. If she succeeds, I'll give you an asset, which will reduce
Okay.
the difficulty.
And so what
Can I
difficulty
just
will I be
say
rolling
something because I think it's relevant? I do have a special ability that is deconstruct, which is basically to carefully try and salvage something. I don't know if we can kind of combine our actions somehow.
I would say for you, that would be you taking the lead if you do that action.
Oh, okay.
Instead of assisting. You can
Okay.
choose. You can do that. You would just
Okay.
be taking the initiative and kind of setting her aside and be like, "I got this." Otherwise,
Right.
you just make a normal
Right.
roll and
Right.
you get an asset. So, are you doing that, or
I mean, I'll let Manasa try and assist for this one.
if you fail, it will be done. You won't not have to have
Oh.
another. You won't have another roll.
Darn.
I don't-
Okay, so I just turned to Manasa. Okay, Manasa, how confident are you? Like, should I give it a go instead, or?
I mean, normally when I scavenge things, I just kind of take things out and see if they still work. I don't really know half of the use of them.
Perhaps
Yeah.
someone with more skills should take a look, MK.
Who's that? Not me.
I don't normally agree with him, but he actually has a point. Why don't you take the lead on this?
Okay, now there's a lot of pressure on me, though, so maybe you should go ahead.
MK.
And, do. No,
You're really good at what you do, all right? Just look at it and just
Okay.
I will be right behind you.
All right.
I'm going to start looking around for like medicinal herbs. Can that count as
Go
my
for it.
10-minute recovery? I already did my one action one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You'll find herbs depending on how you roll will be how strong of herbs they are. Got some pretty good ones. Like real good ones.
He got the good shit. Well
Good
done.
stuff.
Yeah, you probably noticed him, Fuka, like grab like some pretty strong like
I'm pretending
painkillers.
to meditate on my rock, but I smirk because I'm totally watching through my eyes.
So what are you two doing after your argument or during your argument?
Okay, I'll go for it. And I'll try to deconstruct. Which is
Okay.
intellect.
And it costs 3. If you have edge, that'll reduce it by 1. It costs it no matter your success on the roll.
I do
And that
have
will
edge.
be for you a difficulty 5. Because you are now, if you're trained, that reduces it automatically. You can use effort.
Okay. So should I keep 5 then as difficulty?
5 would be the difficulty, yes.
Okay.
It's just a matter of what you do to reduce that difficulty.
Can I expend effort?
Yes, absolutely. You can expend up to 1 effort, which will cost you another 2 intellect. And in that case, you had a nice success. A special
yeah.
was extra damage.
Hell yeah.
There's no minor or major effect, but you do succeed. And you pull out a single, intact, perfectly preserved blaze canister. The other one was cracked slightly. not from you, just in general, and was leaking some fluid. But this one is perfect.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Can I hold it?
No, don't give it to her.
What? Alkali.
Oh, yeah, you
It's
can
just
hold it.
because MK
I'm just going to hold
probably could make something out of it, and we don't really want to risk that.
fine.
All right, fine. I don't need to hold it. It's fine. Just see what you can make out of it.
I'll let you hold it later, okay? When, you know, it's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think we'll pause there for a moment. Go back in time. Four days earlier, we find ourselves in a decent sized house with Alkali, going through some of her tools, going through some of her effects, getting ready and preparing for a voyage on her own. What does the inside of your house in Meridian look like, Alkali?
It's a very simple, meticulously clean house. I didn't grow up really with much because my mom and I were alone. So everything's just nice, clean, put in place. Very rustic and just comfortable, I guess.
Yeah. Do you live with your mother?
Yes. Yes, I do.
What does she think of everything and your choices? Have you talked to her yet about it? Has she noticed you packing?
She's not very happy about it. But she knows that I'm not going to take no for an answer.
Yeah. What's motivated you? Why are you doing this?
The desire for knowledge, I guess. You know, I'm tired of just being behind these four walls, and I want to know more about the world and maybe try to make the world a better place. Find out more about myself maybe in the process.
Yeah. What are you packing? What's important to you that you would bring on this journey?
Well, I would probably pack my weapons, obviously, so you'd see Alkali attaching a knife to her leg and slinging her bow over her arm onto her back. And inside her bag, some provisions. She has a headlamp that's solar powered, pretty cool, that she found while going through some ruins when she was younger. She's got this weird blue orb thing that she just is really fascinated with, I guess. I want to know more about it. I don't really know anything about it. I've tried to figure it out. I have no idea what it does.
Where'd you find it?
Just diving into some ruins. It was a little bit after Manasa left, when I was diving into some of the more dangerous kind of areas.
A knock
just some
on the door
provisions.
while you're gathering those provisions.
Yes? Who is it? And I walk over to the door.
Manasa stands before you. You haven't seen her in a few years.
Manasa?
Alkali.
Weren't you traveling? What?
I'm always traveling. When am I not traveling? But we're in Meridian right now. My trading routes led me here. Of course, I have to restock and everything like that. You know how it is for traveling all the time for traders.
Right. Wow. It's so good to see you. And you'll see Alkali just like very out of character because she doesn't really normally jump at the chance for physical contact, but she just totally glomps onto Manasa, gives her a big hug. I missed you so much. I hope everything's been good. Tell me about everything.
Can you let go of me first?
Sorry. And Alkali just backs up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to come in?
No, actually. What's with the bags?
Oh. You see Alkali look behind at the bags. Well, I was just about to head out on an expedition. I heard this transmission through my focus. And I was gonna go towards the west to investigate.
The West? You wouldn't be happening to, travel on your own all the way out there now, would you?
Well, I wasn't planning on having company, but do you want to go?
I mean, I'm here in Meridian, not on the trade routes. Bags packed, just over there. So I would say yes.
Were you planning on going already?
What gave you that idea? Who told you?
Alkali looks over at Manasa's bags that are packed behind her. Nothing. No, just a stupid idea, I guess.
Oh, yes, well. I was just, stopping by to visit a friend and, but look, you're traveling west. Which is almost ironic because I too am about to travel west.
Well, do you want to travel west together?
Alkali. That would be amazing. I would love to travel west with you. In fact, I already know a tinkerer that's going to be coming along with us.
A tinkerer?
Yes. An Osram, yes. You'll love her. Very, very nice. She's very, very good at what she does. But she'll come in very handy in definitely making a scavenging and making sure, we all look out for each other.
She sounds
and possibly,
wonderful.
Whatever things we may stumble upon. Shards, trinkets, that sort of thing.
That all sounds wonderful.
So is it a yes?
I was asking you that question.
Oh,
So you would have to...
yes, I would love to travel with you.
Perfect. I can't wait to meet her.
Oh, you want to meet? Oh, she's just over there. Like she's, over there talking and whatnot, and probably tinkering or whatnot. I can introduce you.
No, we can meet later. We'll just.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll let you finish packing and whatnot. I should probably pack some more too, or start
You
packing.
look pretty packed to me.
Who told you that?
My eyes?
And that's where we'll take our break. Because I just wanted to end with that phrase because it was.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
So, we're gonna take
Who told you that? Okay.
Who told you that?
Who told you that? Who told you that? My eyes.
So we're gonna take a really quick break, but first, I did want to mention something pretty neat. Tablestory.tv/forbiddenlands now exists, with profiles of each of the players and links to all their socials for ease of finding them and following them all over the place. In addition to this, a podcast version of the show has launched, which is pretty exciting. So you can listen to this if you'd prefer that format, or
Maybe
if you'd
they
like,
already are.
maybe they already are. You're listening to it right now in the future because episode 2 is not finished yet and is not released yet, but the episode 1 has. Great ways to get downloadable and high quality podcasts for all the shows are supporting on the Patreon, which does help shows like this with all its wonderful production, as well as getting guest shows and all these wonderful things, one-shots. Support on the Patreon, do a great service, feed whack, and enjoy this content in a great way. Yeah, I can do that now. But in general, thank you for enjoying this show. We're going to be back in 3 minutes or so, and the rest of this episode, we're just halfway there. So, see you in just a moment, everyone. Go stretch and get some water and wash your piss mittens. I just had to do that for whack because I saw his face after the countdown. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Forbidden Lands Episode 2. Thank you for taking a break with us. We're just going to dive right back in. Our party stands at the entrance of a large 1,000,000-acre forest, if not larger. For the viewers, you may recognize some landmarks here. This is, in our present day, Monte La Salle National Park, a large mountain range covered in lush forest, undergrowth. It's overgrown from lack of maintenance over the years. A small path through the forest where they have reached from a tip days ago as they were traveling. The same path that this Bellowback had burst through lays before them. They can see some small mountains that the trees are growing across, maybe a little snow at the very highest peaks. But it's going to take some time to make their way through this forest. There is a path, and how treacherous it is depends on their choices and observations. They stand at the edge, and at the base of this corpse of a Bellowback, a large lizard-like bipedal creature, as blaze liquid and fluids leak below it, and the sparks have dwindled from its old power cell.
Every day I am amazed that such wonders continue to exist out of the sacred lands.
Fancy yourself a poet, do you, Nora?
I never have, no. I think that's for people with far more imagination than me.
Such a thing as personal style. Yours could be pointing out the obvious in ways people don't think about.
What of you, Banuk?
You call me that, and you can see all humor die in my eyes for a second. Fiuka will do, thank you.
Sorry. Fayuka.
Definitely not a poet. Maybe we should get a plan going. Otherwise, this lot will be picking fights with everything that moves just for a few shards.
Were you talking to yourself or anyone in particular there, Fuka?
Pretty much to myself, but as much as I ever am.
What did the rest
If other
the
people
other-
listen in, they listen in.
Yeah, that's fair. What are the other three of you doing while they're conversing and waxing poetry?
I think I just got Manasa to the side a bit, and I'm showing her what we just scavenged because she wanted to hold it, and that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of, I'm still thinking about that. It seems so. I don't know if I'm close enough to have heard what Fiuka said, but
You said it out loud, and it's fairly quiet. The birds may be starting to come back, but most of them were scared off by the Bellowbacks charging. So you might hear some light bird calls again now that the danger seems to have passed. But other than that, it's a pretty clear day and pretty quiet day, so you'd hear her.
I think I would be studying the Bellowbacks, kind of like external anatomy, I guess. Trying to see if there's anything I can keep in mind for future reference and how parts of it kind of work.
How you doing that?
Well, I have a skill called photographic memory.
Oh. What does that do?
It allows me to basically have a little bit of an advantage when I try to memorize things or recall things.
Any particular knowledge set that works with, or is it most things in general?
Oh, it's about geography. So they mention basically details of geography in a book, set of tunnels that you've explored before. But that was just an example. I also have artifact technology too, but
Right. So more than likely, you wouldn't be able to photographically remember this,
okay.
but you could still try to study it as best you'd like.
Okay.
Though
So would that be more in line with artifact knowledge / technology?
this isn't really an artifact. This is a machine.
Okay.
It's a creature of this world.
Okay.
So in this sense, that may not apply, unless you can really argue that it does.
I think I'll let the horse die here.
No worries. But how would you like to study it then? What are you trying to do?
I guess try to study its weak points that I found
Okay.
out from using my focus.
Yeah,
So that would be
Yeah.
just straight intellect.
it would. Absolutely.
Okay.
So you turn on your focus. Give me an intellect check. This will be a difficulty 4 as you
Okay.
boot it up. You don't need to touch it. It's a mental thing at this point for you. You've had it a couple of years now. Very nice. Very, very nice. So you make note. You walk over, and everyone who is looking would see Alkali stand over the power cell, look at the armor plating around where it came from, make note of that, go to the back where the flare or the blaze canisters were, and meticulously pour over the slot where one was and one where the cracked one is, and then going up to its throat and gullet sac that is filled with the blaze fluid, and seeing that it, is like almost a very thick rubbery texture that would take a bit to pierce, but still looks like you could slice it open potentially. And you make note of these spots. You're pretty sure that you run into another fire bellowback, you may not have to scan it again to know where the weak points are. So make a note on your character sheet that you've kind of poured over this bellowback. It's not going to necessarily give you any advantages mechanically outside of you know where they are and you can locate them and tell people where they are.
Okay.
It's memory. You have to remember.
That thing comes in pretty handy, huh?
Yeah, I would say so. Saves us a little bit of trouble.
Well, I don't know how they work. I've only stumbled upon maybe like 1 or 2 intact, but I've always sold them off. The rest of them are always broken. Can't seem to get the darn things to work.
Well, you should have kept one. It's pretty interesting.
Not my kind of thing. I'm more interested in how much it's worth.
I suppose that's true.
You were always the type to be very curious about things, so I think it suits you to have one.
I think so too.
Just don't lose it. Somebody might try to sell it.
Hard. It's kind of attached up here.
You'd be surprised what people would do to get one of those.
Don't get
sounds
any
like you got
ideas.
experience.
Are you threatening me?
I'm not going to take it from her. I'm just saying she should be very careful with it, you old crow.
Be nice. She got
I don't
thrown
even
across
know-
the battlefield earlier.
It's not my fault that she wants to fly. Where did you find her anyway?
Wants to. I think you'll find I succeeded, if somewhat briefly.
Yes, it was a wonderful display. I'm
Oh,
sure you'd love to
wasn't
try
it?
it again.
Well, let's see if you're any better at it later on, shall we?
Manasa, I think you don't want to mess with her. She's pretty tough.
And I'm pretty tough as well. I don't even know where you picked her up at.
Hard-headed
my
is
life.
not the same as tough, young lady. Just because
We'll
it
see
made
about
an
that.
empty sound when I hit your head with my stick doesn't mean you're made of rocks.
Says the person who talks to herself all the time.
Just because you can't see things doesn't mean they don't exist. If you had one of these, maybe you'd know that. Speaking
And
of
you would
which,
see Fuka pull her hood back ever so slightly, also showing a focus.
does my knowledge of this combined with living in the wilds for a long time, if I look out at the horizon and at this national park, is there a route through that I can see that will take us away from aggressive animals, that's more of a safe trek?
There's the very obvious path, but there could be something else.
I would actually, I would be looking around, because I do have training in following and identifying tracks.
You do?
So I'd be looking around to see like where the Bellowback came from, and trying to find a safer path if we encountered a Bellowback so quickly
Yeah.
into our journey.
Sure. Yeah, you absolutely can make a check for that. So you would see Fuka, Nikel, kind of on his, like, crouching down behind the Bellowback, looking at its tracks, following those to the forest. It's a difficulty 0 to see where it came from. It's a large path. You can see that it knocked some trees away as it was bursting out of the forest. But looking for a less traveled path. Perfect. Yeah, that was easy enough for definitely just finding that track. Didn't take anything. It was a 0 and you just
Just in
wanted to
case I
flex.
rolled the 1.
Just in case you rolled the 1, that's fair. It's very fair. Difficulty 0, by the way, those listening, means it is a task that you do not need to roll on. It's a task you can just do. Picking up a cup is a difficulty 0. Seeing a thing that you already saw is a difficulty 0. But he's looking for something a little more specific. So, to find an untraveled path, that will be a difficulty 4. Something that is hidden as you are looking around for maybe somewhere to go where there won't be Bellowback tracks. Maybe a deer trail.
Is this Fayuka that's rolling?
That'd be you. You're looking around.
Okay.
As I said, you didn't need to roll,
Okay.
but you did.
Would this have been charted territory, territory, like in a book or anything like that I may have noticed or read? Or are we already like
You're
far enough
basically
away?
you are on the edge of the Forbidden Lands at this point. You are the forest isn't the Forbidden Lands, but past it is, and most people don't venture this way.
You said difficulty 4?
4, correct, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna use an effort.
Okay. Success.
Good thing I did. I would have failed.
Yeah, that was very good. Yeah. So, as Fuka, you were kind of watching him do all of this. Did you like kind of follow him while he was looking around, or did you watch from a distance?
I'd watch from a distance. I mean, not a long distance. If I
Sure.
thought something amusing was going to happen, I would absolutely follow.
Sure.
But away behind him.
You noticed what he was doing. He was tracking.
Mhm.
He was looking, and you find some small hoof prints off maybe 20 feet or so to the north of this forest. It kind of crawls northeast a bit with the mountain range. And you see a deer trail. Small hoof prints, maybe a few deer have passed here last day or so. It's not a very well-worn path, but you see that it's used. The underbrush is nibbled at and worn away a little.
All right. So I'm gonna sort of come back and from what I can tell, there is a safer path this way. Do you agree, Fayuka?
Smart boy. Following the prey, not the hunters. Oh. Right. Are we ready to go, or do you want to desecrate another carcass?
I don't know. Can you walk?
Surprisingly well.
Well, then I'm all ready.
Excellent. And I'll whip my staff up just a little bit faster than you're expecting. Yeah. Careful, your nerves are showing. And I'll hobble off after Nickel.
I quickly fix my hood and follow after.
I follow as well.
Same.
The 5 of you make your way with Nickel in the lead as he has been tracking and watching this path, and it might be a little difficult to the untrained eye to see where he's going, but he moves westward through these forested areas. And for the most part, the first few hours are uneventful. It's a long, winding path. This is a very lush forest. It's old, very old. The trees have to be, at least a number of them, hundreds of years old at this point. And machines are few and far between. Where are the Bellowbacks? You would have thought you would have heard some by now. As you crunch through some of the leaves, and maybe Fuka and Nickel are both, maybe they wince every now and then as one of the other 3 step on a loud branch.
Perhaps one of you would like to run ahead a couple of miles and announce our presence.
I don't think they
No.
are familiar with traveling through these kinds of wildernesses.
You shock me.
I've had my fair share of traveling. It can't be that hard.
I'm sorry if I'm clumsy.
Well, don't apologize, dear. Just do better.
Well, it's easy for you to say.
Heel toe, nice and slow. I'll actually try and show her how to move a little more.
Are you? Do you have any
Quietly.
shoes, or are you just barefoot, Yuka?
I'd imagine I had like kind of boots on, but it's very rough and ready, and they've been bound around a whole bunch of times. It's essentially just rags with leather on the bottom at this point.
They probably flew off too.
You don't survive to be my age with shoes that fall off. Bind those things to your fucking legs. But yeah, I'll actually make a point of showing her, because I kind of assume nobody's ever bothered. And I quite enjoy imparting that knowledge, showing how to shift your weight slowly so things don't hear you coming.
Yeah.
I am actually being very attentive to what she's showing me, and I'm trying to learn and learn how to move more gracefully than I have been.
All right. And the party trudges on through more of this forest. Can I get an intellect perception check from everyone?
Difficulty?
Difficulty 3. My goodness, Fiuka.
Finally.
Manasa sees the same thing as well. So the rest of you, and Nikel, you're focused heavily on the tracks and the daylight that's starting to approach. It's fading. Maybe you're thinking you might need to make camp soon. And the rest of you are also not paying that much attention. MK focusing on her footwork and being quiet. And perhaps Alkali kind of just taking in nature as they walk. Manasa, you would make note that it's like there's an old road off on the side through the trees. At least you think you see a glimpse of what you've been told is a asphalt, I think. I mean, it's damaged. It hasn't survived the age of time, but I think you see some. And Yuka, you definitely have seen. It's one of the old roads of the old people, the old ones. One of their roads on the side. Maybe 20 or 30 feet off to your right.
Oh, do you see that? Shh. That shimmer there, the heat haze coming off.
Glimmer is off on the
Yes.
side of the road, you note as well, Yuka.
Ah, one of the old ways. Easier on the feet.
A lot easier. Except for when you're barefoot. Then it gets really, really hot.
Were you planning on taking your shoes off?
No. I was just stating a fact from an experience I had when I was younger.
Well, it's not like you to impart information that wasn't pertinent to the current situation. You are growing, aren't you?
Charming. No wonder you live alone.
When did I ever say that?
I mean, you completely give it off. You're not used to being in a group with people.
And you're not good at reading people.
And you two should get married. Are we done?
We're done.
I'll just point my cane right in between her eyes. Don't start.
There's an awkward silence that hangs in the air for a bit. Did you pause, Nikel, or when they pointed this out, or did you keep tracking?
I'm probably looking towards the road. Have you encountered many of the Old One's roads?
On occasion. Why have you?
Not many.
Oh, this'll be an adventure then.
I tighten my lips a bit as she says this, and do these roads lead to more places that we should not be?
Well, that's the thing about roads, they go in more than one direction. Can lead to a place you're not supposed to be or far away from it, depending on what direction you decide to go. You're not enjoying straying from the norm?
I must admit that becoming a seeker was not what I expected. Nor venturing into the Forbidden Lands. Especially with all of you.
Well, maybe the thing you were seeking isn't what you thought you were seeking.
Merely do
Are
what
you
the mothers
coming?
ask for me.
Mothers?
Yes.
Do you not like to think for yourself?
When I did, I didn't expect to do this.
Oh, I see. You like to know the outcome before you roll the bones. Oh, you are in for an unpleasant surprise.
Perhaps.
There
Okay.
are lots of things that are predictable. Sky on fire, tomorrow's gonna be hot, or beasts run in that direction, predator comes from that direction. It's all predictable, it's patterns, it's learning. Life is not like that. You've just got to run from the predators and wear appropriate clothing for the heat of the day.
MK, I'm curious. What have you been thinking while there's a number of bickering and discussion going on while you trudge along on this adventure? This is a pretty common occurrence the last 4 days or so. Constant bickering and bantering between Fuka and Manasa, and Nikel and Manasa, and Nikel and Fuka. How are you taking this?
Honestly, I am enjoying it, not in the sense of people fighting, because they're not really. There's just this sass in the air, and I'm just finding a lot of entertainment in that, and especially in Fuka. I think I kind of see her as my role model at some point, someone that I'd like to grow up to be in the future.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got ambitions.
So
in
there's a
life.
bit of
I must
respect
apologize
almost.
to your parents.
Yeah, it echoes of
Too
your
late for
father's
that.
yelling.
Oh my gosh. Because I mean, I'm not. I don't know. Actually, I don't want to divulge any more information about that. So
Totally
let's
fair.
just say that, I kind of look up to Fuka just because of how she does not give a shit about anything, really. Like, she does her own thing, and I aspire to be this person myself.
I'd also like to
Great,
just
another person.
I'd also like to just clarify that I'm trying very hard to be respectful towards Fayuka, even if she's not reciprocating.
Yep.
Respect is earned, young man.
I was just curious. So, I believe the last thing that was said aloud was Fayuka asking, "Are you all coming?" As she looks toward the road. Did you start taking lead when you said that, Fiuka? Or were you hoping that Nikel would?
I would have done like a half-hearted hobble, but I'm quite enjoying other people taking the responsibility at being in the front.
You said that it's almost nighttime?
It's almost dusk.
Dusk.
So
Okay.
you would see if it's hard to tell. I mean, you're in a forest, and it's a pretty old forest,
This
so you can
road?
tell.
Is it
The-
situated in the forest?
Yeah, it's through the forest. Mm-hmm.
We must be mindful of the time. If we are to venture on this road, then we need to make sure that we can make camp safely.
I agree with the Nora. Probably be safest to find a spot to camp out in before we can travel again.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Now you are talking my language.
Perhaps we should stop then. I can try and hunt us some food.
I'd like to turn on my focus and see if I can notice if there's anything around us, like, because you can see animals and you can see, what is it, all different kinds of the mechanical monsters, as well as like any doors or anything with your focus typically.
Correct. Yeah, if you're looking the right direction, you can absolutely see stuff like that. Yeah, give me a perception check specifically with your focus.
Okay.
And you would all see the noticeable her spacing out again. Did you walk toward the road, or did you all kind of stop when you were talking about making camp, Nikel?
I would have probably stopped with a vantage point of the road.
Okay, so maybe you got like 10 feet away from it or so to kind of look down at it.
Maybe.
Okay. So just yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to know how close you are for sight. Okay, so let's see.
What difficulty did you want me to roll?
Since you're doing a wide sweep, difficulty 2. You may miss some things here and there, but you're just kind of looking around in general. Okay. Yeah, so you would see squirrels up in trees if you're like zipping around with your eyes. You don't see any machines outright within your range. Whether that's a good or a bad thing for you, but you don't see any. And I think you see like a raccoon kind of across the road, skittering about, digging in something, maybe trying to dig up some nuts or a root or something like that. But other
And
than
nothing
that,
down that road, right?
nothing within your range at least.
Okay.
It's a long road. If you get up to that 10 feet or so, you start to see the path is probably about 20 feet wide, as it cuts a big swath through this forest.
So I have the ability of identifying lies, danger, and importance. So it says that I'm trained in tasks involving identifying or assessing danger. Would that be appropriate to roll if we are looking for a place to camp?
Absolutely.
All right.
Same with tracking or scouting could fit that as well, but for you, that absolutely would.
Okay. And what difficulty would I roll that on?
Depends on where you all want to put your camp. If you're looking right where you are, I have a difficulty for you, and that would be a difficulty 3. Right where you're standing.
And right where we're standing, there's a little bit of pavement, I'm assuming, like asphalt.
Yeah, there's
And
some
some
old
trees.
asphalt about 10 feet, 15, 20 feet away, depending on where you're standing in proximity to the road.
Okay.
Other than that, you're in a very thick, dense forest. You would see more light on the road than where you are right now. You're kind of starting to get in shadow as the sun sets behind some of the mountains.
I'd like to walk towards the old road. And then I'd like to roll my survivor trait.
Okay. if that's an ability, make sure you deduct costs as appropriate. Other than that, you may roll.
And then what difficulty would I roll that on? Now that I've, like, moved towards the old road?
That would be a difficulty 4.
Okay.
A little harder. More danger, potentially, due to the open space. But you're used to danger. And keeping an eye from it, and potentially getting away from it. So, lies danger, importance, power. So, right off the bat, camping on the road would be a terrible idea. Very dangerous. You actually see machine tracks on the road, where some of the asphalt has broken, presumably from bellowbacks, and their heaviness. Staying in the forest would be more ideal, since it is a densely packed forest. You would have the cover of trees, and it would be much harder for large machines to move through. However, if there are any stalkers here, that would be your biggest fear in the night, as they can slink around and move through these trees unseen, due to their own cloaking abilities and quietness.
And can I determine if these tracks are like some... Oh, no, probably not. That's probably something that...
Yeah, you wouldn't know how fresh they are, only that they are there.
Nora, there's some tracks over here.
Very well. Let me take a look.
You step out into the road then, Nikel?
Yes.
Okay. Nikel trudges out onto the old asphalt road, cracked. Most of it is decayed or kind of gone into gravel, but there are still chunks here and there, and some faded lines down the center. As you get into the road and you look at the tracks, and I'll let you roll that. What are you looking for specifically with the tracks before I note anything else for you, Nikel?
I'm trying to see if I recognize the machines and which, like, sort of path they're taking, you know? Are they staying on the road? Are they going back into the forest? Based on that, I'm trying to figure out a vector for where we should camp.
All right. Okay. Yeah, give me a difficulty 3 for tracking. Very nice. Minor effect. I'll give you a few options for your minor effect after telling you what I know, and I'll let you choose what you do with what you would have. So, they're fresh tracks. It looks like this is a pretty standard patrol path of bellowbacks, a number of them, at least 3. And you have done a number of hunting as a seeker of machines for the Nora tribe, and you would know that a lot of machines have a set pattern that they repeat over and over again until they notice something. So, it could be anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. They'll be back here in this exact spot. You also notice an Old Ones sign on the side of the road. On the opposite side of the road from where you entered, rusted and dirt covered, but you might be able to make out some of its old language, which most people can read. The Old Ones have passed down a lot of the language knowledge to all of you. You, the viewer, would know they speak English. This is standard English that everyone speaks, and most people can read and write in English. The other thing, which for your minor effect, you can either know exactly where they will arrive, or when they will arrive. You could know more of the length of their path. And actually, I think it'll be one of those two. When they'll be here, or the length of the path.
When they'll be here.
They'll be here in about 10 minutes. based on what you know for patrol routes.
So I'm kneeling down, looking at the tracks, and I say, more Bellowbacks. Maybe 5? We might have 10 minutes before they make their way back here. We should definitely find a safer spot to camp for the night.
Where do you suggest?
Well, if this is their patrol route, I think it's smarter for us to stay in the forest for the night.
I agree. We should stay, and we should find some food.
Give me a minute. I'm gonna walk a little way off towards the trees. And can
Away
I
from the road or toward the road?
away from the road?
Okay.
Can I follow her kind of sneakily, just because I want to know what she's doing?
Yeah. If you want to be sneaky, you'll have to roll
I mean,
for
she
it.
taught me how.
Yeah.
So let's
All
see
right.
how well she taught me.
Do you have any particular skill for that? Otherwise, it'll be a speed
No, I don't.
check. All right,
don't.
give me a speed check.
Okay.
I'll let you do a counter intellect perception check, Fuka. That way, just put difficulty 0. Whoever is higher will succeed.
Intellect, sorry. Yeah.
Intellect
So
for
just
you, speed for
for me.
MK.
Okay.
Yep. No difficulty, no effort. Just I want to see what the 2-year roll.
You go first.
Okay, so you rolled a 2. You are pretty damn loud.
I'm
So unless
sorry,
you
okay?
fail,
Let's see
I'm
how deaf
sorry.
I am.
Please be deaf.
no,
No.
so
Oh
not
my
deaf.
gosh.
Yeah, MK trudges behind you and snaps a few branches with each step and does the very cartoony exactly what you may see. The hands up, trying to high knee sneak behind. It's comical if anyone were to see this.
They're like wrenches and screwdrivers just like hanging from her tool belt. Like,
Blinking, yeah. Like,
Kind of like.
yeah. For the sake of a major effect, because you did roll exceptionally well, Fiuka, let me know what you are. I'm going to give you an asset for whatever you're trying to look for. Because
I'm looking
first
for a-
sneaking may have distracted you, but you know how to tune out the sound and the voices.
I'm looking for a decent-sized prey animal that would be
You're trying to
dinner
hunt
for us all.
something. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna say, yeah, you have an asset for this, and the main asset is you're basically able to use the noise to your advantage when you win or if you spot something to kind of lead the creature toward you to grab it or stab it.
While she's following me, I'm going to let her carry on for a little bit because I want her to learn, but it just gets so loud, and you can just see me occasionally stopping and just like, and eventually just spin around and go, right, first things first, we need to affix these a little more thoroughly, so pop that in there, and I'm sort of moving all the jangly metal things so that they're a little more secure and they don't jangle as much. Remember what I said, heel toe, heel toe. If I say do...
Fixing my bits.
Oh dear. Oh,
say?
she's going to be one of those. Right. If I say do the opposite, please feel free to be as noisy as you wish. Now, what have we got here? And I'm looking around for some sort of creature. If my focus will help with that.
Your focus
Fine.
could, yeah. Give me
That'll
a
be-
perception check. This won't be for hunting, this will just be for finding. And while you're doing that, Nikel, are you out? Or are you heading out to find some food as well?
yeah, as long as they've all sort of vectored away from the road for camping.
Have they, or the I guess the two of you, did you check out the road at all? Or are you staying away from it?
I looked at the road, but after he had made the statement that we were not safe on the road, I had moved back into the forest.
What about you?
Off of the road.
Alkali.
Would I know about that sign that Nickel found?
I don't think anyone mentioned it. Manasa didn't mention anything.
I wouldn't have
nor
said
did
anything
Yuka.
about the sign.
Nickel never said anything, so you wouldn't, because you didn't
Alright, so-
succeed in a perception.
I'd probably be out using my focus trying to help and get something for dinner as well. I think, on my own, probably.
Oh, okay. Do you hunt normally, or is this something like you've always saw them do it, and...
I mean, I'm going on expeditions for like quite a few days whenever I do leave Meridian, so I would assume I have like basic survivalist skills.
Sure. Whether or
I
not
also
you
have
hunt
my
yourself
focus.
or bring tools, like, that's up
Yeah.
to you.
So,
Okay.
probably just the bow and the focus, that's it.
Alkali, what are
Okay.
you doing?
I'm trying to hunt Manasa. Do you want to join me?
You. And me? Hunt? What?
Have you ever done
Alkali-
it before?
No! I'm a trader. I trade. For goods, services, the like. I trade for food. You know? I don't hunt for it. I'm not very specialized in it.
Do you want to just watch? We have to be quiet though.
Alright. I can watch. How do I... Do I just stand here?
Pretty much.
I can do that.
Do you
I
want,
I just prop my hands on my hips.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna use my focus and see if I can find anything that we can go ahead and hunt.
All right. We'll deal. So that's good. Hold on to that. I will. Yes, absolutely. That's a major, 100%. So we'll get to that in a second. Whack. We're first going to get to Yuka and
Oh, no.
her failure again. So a GM intrusion. One second. You can choose to accept or deny this. If you accept the GM intrusion, you will get experience and be able to give one away. But, MK, you're following, and you would see, again, you can accept or deny after I tell you the situation, I believe. Is that correct, Whack? Saying what it is and they can choose to agree? Okay, because I just want to make sure you know. Or is it they
Technically,
didn't
I
have
don't.
to deny
I think
it first?
they have to deny it first. Yeah.
Great. Are you going to accept or deny then, Yuka? You pay an experience or you get one and give one away?
Is this something that could come back to bite MK in the ass as
You
well
don't-
as me?
You don't,
I don't know.
She's with you.
In-
That's the only thing
In
you
that
know.
case, I will spend the XP to deny it.
Okay. Yeah. So you are going through tracking. You try to focus with your focus. You scan, you look around, and the voices are so loud, and her crunching is so loud, and you're so distracted.
Shut up!
And you step on a branch, and there's a loud crack, and a boar charges past you, narrowly missing you.
Oh. Can I call after it with enthrall, or is that too late?
Too late. You denied the GM.
Well, one thing about living out here, you learn when to cut your losses. Come on. head back and see if anyone's had more luck.
Was that me? Was that my mistake?
I'll cup your cheeks slightly. Not everything that goes wrong is the fault of the least experienced.
Well, that's different.
Do you think you get into my state by doing the right thing all the time? That sounds like a very dull life to me.
I sure hope so.
No, I think you've got something a little more exciting on the cards for you. Come on.
And the two of them turn around and trudge back to where the camp was supposed to be, with MK being far too loud. We will get to Nickel and his hunting in a moment, but Alkali and Manasa trek forward. Alkali, what are you doing?
I'm trying to look around and use my focus as quietly as I can possibly move around this forest to see if I can find anything big enough to at least feed like 2 of us, maybe.
Ah, okay. All right. Give me a check with your focus, difficulty 5. You are in a dense forest and it's a little difficult here. You've been using your focus a lot and your mental strain is starting to show. You're still trying.
I'm gonna use an effort on the roll.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Trained in effort. Very good. For those watching, a focus is a little different than the Cypher System, by the way. In the Cypher System, you have a focus, which is a character trait, essentially. But in Horizon Zero Dawn, in its universe, there is a small device that sits and rests on the temple called a focus. You can actually see it if you're watching on Alkali, the character, right now. The small rectangular device allows the user to see into another world. For us, the viewers, we would know that it is an augmented reality. For someone technologically advanced, they would know that. For those not so much, you may be able to see into the spirit world. But Alkali looks and turns this on and is able to find living creatures with it, mechanical creatures, maybe technology if it has some power left, doors, that sort of thing. And she's able to spot a family of raccoons scurrying about. Pretty healthy. Looks like 4 of them. A couple younger, a couple older.
Is there one that looks particularly beefy?
Yeah. Looks like what you'd guess, probably the male of this group.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kneel down slightly and take out my bow and try to land a shot on that poor raccoon.
Alkali!
Okay.
Alkali! Manasa, I'm trying to hunt. Where? You see food? Where is it?
Alkali gestures like very quietly to this family of raccoons.
Oh, look, they're right there. Shh. Sorry.
Manasa, can you give me an intellect check, difficulty 5? Because you're trying to quiet yourself as you're yelling out while someone's hunting.
I see I'm not the only one.
And you quickly cover your mouth and muffle yourself and duck down as you realize you've just made an egregious error in hunting. Alkali, you see the raccoon, specifically the one you're looking at, the leader of this little group. Its ears twitch up in your focus's sight. You're gonna have to take a shot now.
I will take my shot. What's the difficulty?
3. The shot flies right over it as they scamper away, due to the noise more than likely.
Shit. You missed it. I thought you were hunting.
They heard you.
Me?
Yes.
I'm not the one that shot an arrow at it.
You alerted it, and it ran away after that. I would have landed the shot if you didn't make a noise. It's okay. It's fine.
I don't think it was my fault, but fine.
Yeah. I should have aimed better, I guess. You're right.
And the two of them trudge back empty-handed as well. Nikel, tell me what's going on as you have gone out hunting. And you can tell me everything. As I saw earlier, you got a major effect from your nat 20 while you went out tracking and hunting.
Yeah, I think I just took my time and looked for some signs of some boars maybe running around here, and found a good spot to perch, and didn't really find anything except I saw one come sort of running through some of the foliage off to the side, and it was almost like I was already ready for it.
You're welcome.
And I took aim and fired.
And the boar collapses, unexpecting a shot right into its neck. Clean kill. Quick kill. Experienced hunter.
Yeah, I try and I make sure that it's dead with my knife, and I'm going to just bring it back to camp. I don't know how heavy it is, but if I can throw it over my shoulder, I will. I'm guessing it's too heavy for that. Otherwise, I'll drag it.
You could make a might check to throw it over your shoulder if you want to flex a little bit, but it would be normally too heavy.
Yeah, I figure, that's one of the things that I do. I'm show off my skill whenever I can. Yeah.
Absolutely. Give me a might check. Difficulty 3. Boar slung over his shoulder.
Kind of holding it. Start walking
trudges.
my way back to camp.
The 4 of you are already there. Maybe quietly licking your wounds, not getting any hunting done whatsoever. Started camp, maybe got a fire going. Who would have gotten a fire going? That's a 0. You have the tools for it. It's not an issue at all. There's a plenty of wood around.
I'll make the fire.
Okay. So
I'm
Manasa,
just sitting down moping if you're worried about me. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of too hungry to function. Just down on the ground, just almost
Yeah.
crying.
Mood.
Almost crying, yes.
yeah, MK, and for those not so aware, Ossurum men and women are quite bulky. They have a lot of, they're smiths and tinkerers by trade. They've got a lot of strength behind them. So
We need to eat.
you might get a little hungry. You got a little more body to feed. Need more protein. It's been a long day. Manasa is making the fire. What are the other 2 of you doing while Nikel walks back to camp with his treasure?
I'd just be sitting down watching Manasa make the fire, and occasionally doing that thing that old people do if you're driving a car and you drive in a way that they don't like, and there's that like
But holding your tongue still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alkali?
I'm trying to ignore her.
Fair.
I would have wanted to get away from them too, because honestly, like, I care very deeply about both of these people, but it's just driving me insane. So I would have probably climbed up in a tree and would be, just surveying the area, taking a look, making sure that nothing is coming in on us at the camp.
Fair. Okay. Yeah, you won't need to roll for that. Not now, anyway. You've already done your scouting of this area for the day. And after a few minutes, Nickel walks into this small, very, very small clearing. Like, you're probably gonna have to put your sleeping rolls in between trees. It's a very dense forest. It's already dark at this point. If you're out into there's still light on the road, but the sun is like just behind the mountains. And
Yeah,
he has
I've got
a
the boar,
large-
and I just drop it.
Whoa.
Look at you!
What? What is this?
I'll hunker down next to the boar
Dinner.
and kind of stroke my hands over its head.
I'm just gonna kind of nonchalantly start to like skin it, and
Okay,
like,
you start cleaning
yeah,
it.
start cleaning it.
Can you give me a check for that? I don't know how well you do. You're still
Sure.
you're not gonna waste food necessarily, but
What kind of check would you like?
it would be probably a might or an int, depending on how you want to skin it and clean it. Are you trying to preserve anything aside of the meat and the skin?
I would try and use as much of the boar as I can.
Okay. So then what I will do, yeah, so that's probably going to be an int check because you're being meticulous about it. It'll be a difficulty 4. However, you'll still have meat and leather at the end. It's just I want to determine how much. Very good roll. All right. So you would see it's very, very skilled and deft-handed. As he's done this before many times. He skins, and you can add to your inventory 2 leather, boar specifically. And he cuts away the meat, sets it on some leaves that he had, again, from his major success earlier. He had brought some large leafed plants that he knew were not poisonous, and was setting the meat on each piece. And he has different cuts. He's actually separating like the rump from like the loin, and it's very, very particular. He also takes out a few of the fatty cuts and set them aside for himself. Nickel, you know that you could use a couple of these, and I'm going to do 2 fatty chunks. Those can be used for some medicinals if you add them with some herbs you find.
Fatty boar chungus. Got it.
Bingo.
Well, my father always did say that Noras were the best hunters.
We are.
Thank you. I'm very good at what you do.
Thank you. No, thank you. You saved my life back then, and you're saving my life again with this. Thank you.
Everyone should eat up. If we're going to have a lot more days like today, we should all be as strong as possible.
And the meat cooks and sizzles. Unless there was something else that people scavenged for, which I don't think was the case because everyone was fairly not skilled tonight. The meat roasts. Smells very good. It's a bit gamey, but it's all the protein you could ever want. Is there anything else anyone would do? Any personal rituals, meditations, thoughts, or tinkerings before they would go to bed?
You
I
would
think I
probably
would-
see... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
You'd probably see I'm sitting on my roll, my bedroll, and I would be very carefully laying out all of my trinkets and small odds and ends, and I would be almost meditating or meditatively like counting my shards and putting them
Okay.
in like really nice even piles on my bedroll as I'm like taking inventory.
Sure. Yeah, you don't have as much as you wish you would. You spent a lot to prepare for this journey. A lot. Maybe that's stressing you out a bit. How are you going to survive without your shards? You won't be able to buy food, shelter. Is there shelter and
nothing.
food you can spend it on? Like,
I'm nothing without my trades, without my goods, without my shards. I'm very, very scared. I have no idea what is going to be happening next. What I might lose. But
yeah.
the possibility and the hope of what I could gain definitely sets me a little bit at ease. Just for the time being.
All right. What are the rest of you doing? Fuka,
I
you
would
have-
definitely get to a vantage point if there was some rock or something and just watch the sun go down, and I'm looking for patterns in anything in the sky and anything running past, just watching the clouds, just looking for a sign.
Okay. Do you have a skill that you're trying to roll here, or are you just meditating to yourself?
I mean, I could always use my the supernatural knowledge, I guess.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, why not? See what
Okay.
happens.
What are you looking for in particular?
Signs of things to come
Okay.
overnight.
Little soothsaying a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Things to come overnight. Difficulty 5. It's a pretty clear night. There aren't as many clouds as you'd like. You can see patterns in clouds. Tonight's a little harder.
Difficulty 5. Okay.
You can use effort if you wish. You really want to focus in on the wisps of the clouds.
Yeah, why not? Yep.
Very good. That's a 17. You look up at the cirrus clouds as they wisp. It's a light breeze. It's going to be a clear day tomorrow. Clear days it's like a 50-50 shot. Sometimes clear days will be great. The sun won't beat down too hard on you. You'll have wind at your back. That you know. The wind will be at your back as you travel west. That's good. It's refreshing. It's a good sign. Tomorrow, you might be lucky. You might get a little lucky tomorrow, Fuka. You weren't so much today. You think tomorrow's going to be a better day. Given a little hope. What are the rest of you doing?
I would guess Alkali would still be hanging out in that tree. She went down, got some food, climbed back up because she kind of wants to be alone right now. And she'd be reading a book that she found.
What book? What's it on?
I guess a geography book. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, you've always had a particular knack and desire for geography, man-made or natural.
We'll go with man-made.
Okay. So, was this a book that you wrote with your own notes, or is this something you found? And if so, where did you find it?
This would have been, probably in one of the ruins.
Okay. What was the ruin of? Was it a city? Was it a bunker? Was it a cauldron? Did you dare
No,
go
it
into a
wasn't
cauldron?
It was,
Okay.
it was like a bunker type deal.
Okay. Underground, it was an old, maybe a small family's bunker,
Right.
hoping they could survive. Okay. And yeah, you read on this, and it was notes that you ended up taking. You made your own book on it, but notes on how these people lived. Did they live outside bunkers? You're pretty sure you've seen city ruins before, but you still don't know what exactly put people in the bunker. You've heard talks of, well, the transmission of plague, and you've heard of that before, and you keep seeing it come up in the bunkers. And if you ever happen to find any audio logs in them, they talk of a plague. People had to hide, or they would be killed. So you kind of read up on that, and the structure of these bunkers, and how much food did they have, and it kind of was, this one you think was man-made by these people. It didn't look like the bunker survived very well, whatever happened. They didn't last. It was a last-ditch effort. Wasn't a very happy memory, unfortunately, but you did get to see how people tried to make their own shelter as a last-ditch effort to survive whatever happened. Ingenuitive, even if it failed. What's Nickel doing?
I think I'd probably just be putting together some basic arrows. I would, using whatever shards I managed to sneak away from the grubby hands of my fellow travelers. I'd be putting together some basically just ammunition and what have you.
Okay, kind of collecting, making sure you've got enough supplies for the next day. Okay. All right. You say any prayers to the All-Mother? Or are you not that kind of Nora? You don't have to disclose that either right now, either.
I think in terms of what everybody would see, I'd probably be somewhat separated from the group.
Okay.
And
maybe 10 feet out or something, kind of just far enough away.
Before I set up for like a watch or something, I would probably move over, I'd probably walk over to MK, and I would say, MK,
Yes.
is there any chance that you could perhaps make me some better arrows?
Oh, for a second there, I thought you were gonna say to make you a sandwich. Wow.
No,
Yeah.
I've already eaten.
That's good. I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. Arrows. Yes, I can do that. Yeah, I can totally do that. Yeah, of course I can. What kind of arrows?
What can you make?
I can make the ones that, pierce through things and possibly wound and kill them.
Wouldn't that
Are
be a
those the
normal
ones you're
arrow?
looking for? I mean, yes. Look, is it the one you want or not?
Well, if there's any way that you could make any that... Well, I've seen some of our... some of our wiser Nora make exploding arrows. Perhaps fire arrows?
Maybe we could do something with what we salvaged from, that little beast we killed.
Whatever you can make. I would appreciate
You know what?
it.
I will make something really good for you.
Thank you.
And before you go, I kept this for you. And I hand him a piece of meat, which is really tender. It's like I just, cut it.
Probably some of the loin.
To the side, yeah, and I just give it to him. That's for you. That's the best part. But you deserve it, because without you, we will still be hungry right now. So, thank you.
Thank you. You should eat it.
No, I'm good. I mean, I might eat some later, but I'm good for now. Trust me. That's for you.
Thank you.
Okay, after he walks away, maybe a little reluctantly with the meat, but maybe a crack of a smile, maybe not. You're not sure if you saw that. Would there be anything else you would do before you head to bed?
I think I will just start tinkering with, when I'm done with the food and everything, start tinkering around with what I can do with the arrows, like what I can make. kind of looking around what we salvaged, like the blaze canister, and how I could potentially do something like that for explosive arrows, you know, trying to brainstorm ideas.
Sure. Okay. Okay. All right. If there is nothing else that people want to do, the night will happen.
I'd like to do one more thing.
Absolutely. You have the time.
So
While everyone,
after-
I think, is napping or maybe starting to fall asleep, Manasa does something.
So, after counting what little shiny supplies I have, I will reach into my pack and take out a small woven. It looks almost like a sketchbook. Got very worn leather on it. It's got some ribbons, some cute little squiggles and designs similar to the face paint she wears. And she opens it up. And if you were to look inside, you see very, very, very old, rubbed, stained pictures, or makeshift maps of her family's trade routes. Well, she turns, and there's a blank page, and she looks over at Fiuka. What does she see when she looks at Fiuka?
I'll let you answer that yourself. Are you asleep? Are you awake? you
I
doing
think I will
something?
have. Yeah, I would have gone. The second it became clear that somebody else was going to have to keep a watch out, I'd have been bundled up and snoring within seconds. Quite happy to let somebody else take watch. So just sort of wrapped up in my sort of big shawl, covered in patchwork, just like very unladylike.
She's going to... I'm going to look at my book again and look back at her as she's snoring and let out a really big sigh and roll of my eyes and... Okay, I have to do this. I'm going to get up and I'm going to kneel next to her and I'm going to gently put my hand on her shoulder and try to wake her.
What?
I'm sorry for waking you. I wanted to know if... And I'm fumbling with my little book.
Space it out. Night ends, you know.
I know that. I just wanted to know if you could help me with something.
Well, I can't very well tell you if I can help you without knowing what it is you need.
I know that. I was getting to that. I wanted to know if you could... I wanted to know if you could help me draw or sketch a map. I don't really know if the Nora would even give me the time of day, and I'm kind of going out on a limb here. And I wanted to know if you could help me.
Well, not really known for my penmanship. Could give it a try, I suppose. We've been learning together. What's it for?
This book is it's filled with trade routes. It's been passed down from my family for generations. And it's very important to me. And I want to add to it. Which is one reason why I'm out here. To
Yeesh.
add to my family's legacy.
Of selling things?
Not just selling things. When my family opened the trade routes, they brought a lot of people together unknowingly through trade. Which is why my family and others from Meridian trade through these routes. Through, to Nora and Osseram alike. Not really from, your tribe originally. You're a little hard to find and a little ways out.
Sometimes that's deliberate.
Well, I want to make a trade route to possibly connect with whoever is out there. And I wanted to know if you might help me with that.
We'll see.
Thank you.
I can help. I can certainly help with a map of what we find. As for all your shinies, we'll see.
I want to be able to extend the trade routes not just for shinies. Although, as hard as that is to believe, I've grown up realizing how much it connects people, and I feel like now in a world like we are in right now, it might be good for us.
Put a lot of faith in people, don't you?
I mean, I'm a merchant. I kind of rely on people.
Lots of the time they're more trouble than they're worth. We'll see with you lot. Now can I go back to sleep?
Yes.
Thank you.
Then I'll slowly back away and go back to my bedroll.
You'd hear snoring pretty quick all upon Fiuka. Ages of traveling, she can sleep on a dime when she's ready for it.
Yeah.
Manasa, you would see as the night takes everyone, and her included, clutching this book as she rolls up and curls into her bedroll. I think that's a great place to end the episode. So, we're going to do something a little different starting today. Before we get into shoutouts and all that, we're going to do something. Well, I guess it's part of it. We're going to do something that I took from other systems at end of session. What we're going to be doing is looking at connections that each player has made with each other, as well as what they might do with their time, whether that be tinkering or studying you'll all have a handout that says end of session there. Should be able to see it. And the first option you all get, and the second is a choice from everything else in that list. And I'll read those off so everyone else can know. What we're going to be doing is you basically choose someone that you've connected with. And if there was no connection, you can state that. But if you have a connection with someone, you give them an experience and take one yourself. In addition to doing something with your time, whether that be right before you rested, or maybe right in the morning after resting. But you give that XP and you keep one. Oh, I'm going to correct myself there. You give an XP. You can choose to take one as your second choice, but everyone's going to give an XP regardless. You then can choose to craft something with a roll and gain an XP. You can just gain an XP for yourself. You get a free recovery roll. You could scout out some of the area to reduce a difficulty on your next task of your choice. You can study a machine you've already fought. Maybe go back over, and that'll gain an asset against that next fight on that machine. Or you can study a relic that you may have found. So, I'm going to go through each person, and we'll go in reverse order this time. Say who you are, who you played, and then the connection of who you want to get an XP, and then what you're doing. So we'll start here with Kat.
Ooh, okay.
So who are you? Who's your character? And then what are you doing with your end of session?
My character is Manasa. I'm going to be crafting the outlines of a map. Can I do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Like charting a map, like the outsides of it, like the beginnings. The very beginning
I'd say
of
that
it.
could fit under like scouting an area. Essentially, you're trying to retain that knowledge of where you've been, where you've gone.
And since it's very early on, it's not going to be like super intact or elaborate. It's just the very humble beginnings of it.
Sure. And who'd you have a connection with? Who are you going to give an experience to?
Well, I think that one's pretty obvious for this episode. I'm definitely going to give one to Fuka.
Okay. And then for studying, let's make an intellect-based perception check for that scouting, unless you've got a better skill that you think would happen.
Would my post-apocalyptic survivor skill work?
I think it could.
Okay.
Because you're trying to build a trade route here. I think that would fit.
What difficulty would I roll that?
Since you're making a pretty, as you said, partial map, it'll be a difficulty 2.
Okay.
And anything that is needed for that map, your next roll will have an asset, so a minus to difficulty. But difficulty 2. Anything going forward will be where you can't use that.
Okay.
So.
Let me... Going to roll. Hey.
Okay. Yeah. So you start sketching a map, and this can be in the morning. You and Fuka sit down a little bit and maybe talk about what you've seen before and start making sketches, and Fuka probably every now and then kind of does the maybe instead of just flinching like before, maybe she points and goes, no, there were more trees in this area, or that's where we saw those tracks, and she kind of helps a little bit walk you through it.
I like flinch a little bit whenever I see her raise her hand.
Yeah. Fair. Alkali, what are you doing? Who are you? Who do you play? And who's your connection?
Hi, I'm Phelan. I play Alkali. I don't think there were any particularly crazy moments where I connected with anyone today. But I'm gonna go ahead and give an experience to MK because she was actually very useful during the fight.
Okay.
And then I'll
Get your
probably take one
experience
for
there.
myself too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. MK.
Hello. I feel so good. I feel so accomplished right now. I am Bloody Faster. Hello, and I'm playing Imke. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I would like to give a point of experience to Fuka for inspiring me today. That's all I'm gonna say. And also because I spent half an hour probably laughing because of the ragdoll scene. I can't. Like, I'll probably laugh some more after we're done here. Like, I could not. I could not stop. I was crying. I'm like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but this is hilarious. This is so fucking funny. Yeah, and I would like, do I get a point of experience as well?
If you choose a point of experience, you can also craft, and if you succeed with your craft, you'll get experience as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Can I try crafting those arrows that I was talking about?
You absolutely can.
Ooh.
I believe you have a skill for that as well.
So the problem with that skill is it's a special ability, but it says that I can only do that only if I have fewer ciphers than my limit. I don't know if that's the case.
So in this case, you're okay. Like, if you were working to craft these, you're not crafting necessarily a full cipher. You're making ammunition.
Okay.
So there's that ability, but you also have tech crafting. That is just your
Right.
skill.
Yes.
And that would potentially apply for this as well.
Okay.
That what you're talking about is your ability always be tinkering. This
Right.
is just a
That-
crafting. So I
Yes,
would
yes.
say that fits under tech crafting more.
Okay. Let's do tech crafting then.
Okay. So what are you trying to make?
So I'm trying to make explosive arrows. Cannon arrows.
Explosive arrows. Okay,
Yes.
that's going to be a bit harder
I
compared
know.
to say fire arrows, but that is
Yeah, but
fine.
they're like explosive arrows, so the trade-off.
It's going to take 2 blaze canisters,
Okay. I do have them.
2 shards per arrow,
Okay.
as
So
well
I have
as
5 shards. Okay.
Okay, so you could make 2 of these,
2 arrows. Okay.
and then you will also need to use a wire.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
And what
make,
is the difficulty?
you're going to
It'll
need
say
to make
10.
the roll. No, it's not impossible. No, it's not a difficulty 10. For explosive, it will be a difficulty 5. So you might want to use effort or other things there.
You're killing me, Smalls. Okay. All right.
It's going to be
Effort.
difficult. You're making something harder than just a normal fire arrow.
Okay.
It will
One
use
effort.
the materials regardless. You're trained in your effort. It doesn't succeed. Unfortunately. You'll still get the experience in this case. But
And I'll still disappoint Nickel the next morning. Be like, yo,
Unfortunately.
I tried.
As long as you don't wake me up making the bloody things.
yeah. And for those that needed to know, she needed to roll a 9 or higher.
No.
It wasn't a crit
No
fail. There was
eyebrows
no
the next
explosion.
morning.
Yeah. There were no
And we're
explosions.
dead. Okay. Good. And that's how the story ends.
MK is dead. Moo character.
There used to
coming
be 12
next
people in
episode.
this party. You'd think they'd stop trying to make explosive arrows.
Oh my god. But then I started tinkering, and the rest is
But-
history.
Unfortunately, yeah, you rolled a 4 and you needed a 9. So
It happens. It happens.
it does happen. You've used up a wire, 2 blaze canisters, and
Damn.
4 shards.
Damn.
So, unfortunate. However,
Very.
maybe you've learned a little bit from your mistake and it'll be a little easier next time.
Hopefully.
So, make note on notes somewhere that you've failed making explosive arrows.
Why do I
the
need
sake
to write
of-
that down? I will remember. Trust me.
Yeah, that's up to
Can
you.
I take back that experience and give it to someone else?
Wow! Wow!
Ooh.
Kel,
Wow.
how about we go next before I have to stop a fight here? Holy shit!
We're fighting. Next
Yeah.
next time we're fighting. It's on. Oh, it's on. I'll remember this.
Ooh boy.
Ooh.
Kel. Who are you? And what are you gonna do? Holy shit!
Hi, I'm Wax Steven, and I played Nikel for you today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Chat, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Much love to you. Thank you for the support. And thank you for watching. Yes, I play the very stoic Nikel, and there's also a show here on this channel tomorrow called Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's a Harry Potter show that I GM, and that's at the same time as this show. Also, there's a show on Friday that I GM called Facade. It's an occult detective horror show, and it's really weird and creepy and horror-y. And Millie's on that too. I guess as far as my XP goes, somebody that I connected with, that's kind of tricky for me for this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really connected too well with anybody.
You
I
can
gave you
choose
my
not
meat.
to.
I'm sorry. I gave you my meat.
You
So
did.
that has
You
to count
did.
for something.
You can
did.
choose not
Whoa.
to give it to
I made a
somebody
fire.
if you
Does that
really
count?
feel that you didn't connect.
You have managed to piss
It was,
everyone off.
I know.
And that meat was unsolicited. Just need to point that out.
Oof. I showed you my meat. Please respond.
I'm gonna.
You don't have to give it. That's the one thing.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if it applies this time. I don't know
Okay,
if it
that's
applies
fair.
this time.
And it doesn't.
Sorry.
That's all right. What are you
Um,
doing of
Damn.
your other choices?
Damn.
I think I'm kind of taking first watch. I feel like I'm probably. We get our normal recovery rolls, right? That free recovery rolls, that additional.
This is in addition, correct?
Yeah, I think if either be scouting or extra XP. I'm gonna say extra XP, I guess, because I just be on like guard duty.
All right. And Millie, who are you? Who'd you play? And what are your
Hi.
choices?
I am Amelia Tyler, and I played Fiyuka for you tonight. Oh, my choices. Okay. This is a tricky one because I connected with a few people today. Good work, Fiyuka. I would say, much as I would love to say Manasa, because I know how hard that move was for her, I think if I'm answering as Fiyuka rather than me, I don't think she's ready for that yet. So it would be MK. Because she likes it when people put themselves out of their comfort zone and try to learn something that doesn't come naturally.
Okay.
And the other action, I would like to study that beast that we took down. Because although she didn't like to make it obvious, she was made very uncomfortable by the fact that she couldn't help during that.
Sure. Okay. So you meditate on the machine itself. Any particular skill you'd want to do outside of just a raw intellect?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's nothing I
Give me
can
an
think of
intellect
unless
roll.
you can.
No, I'll give it, and it's going to be a difficulty 5 because
Okay.
that's what it was. So
Mhm.
you can make an intellect roll, difficulty 5. Effort can be used or not.
Oh, I forgot to do that, so no.
No worries. Unfortunately, you would have succeeded if you had done that, but you didn't. So yeah, you think back, and it's just been a little too far you're having a difficulty remembering, and honestly, you're maybe a little put off by how they treated the machine.
No, you know what it
So.
is? I'm tired. That extra
Yeah.
10 minutes makes all the difference. But no, we had to have a conversation.
There it is. Wonderful. All right. And I'm Domestic Dan. I was the GM of Consequences today for Forbidden Lands Episode 2. Want to thank everybody, all the players, Whack, Cat, Faye, Bloody, Millie, for being awesome today. And yeah, we're very glad that you're here. There's more to come next week. And maybe a special guest will be here. We'll see. So, thank you everybody for watching. Again, you can support the channel by, at the very least, following if you're new, subscribing, going to the Patreon, or just enjoying. Now, I do know there is one other thing that I wanted to mention, and that is, I believe, soon. The podcast, if not already, is on Apple. We would highly ask those of you who enjoy this, want to listen to this show, go ahead, find it, listen and rate it, because that helps us a lot. It can potentially show up on new and upcoming podcasts, which gets eyes that may not ever be on Twitch or the show. So please, if you have iTunes or that sort of thing and you like this, it'll help us all out. Give it a little rating. So that's all I've got. I've been Domestic Dan, your GM of Consequences, and this has been Forbidden Lands. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.